Hello and welcome to For You. Reese and Nikki are here to talk to you guys about one of the most famous composers in the world. His name is?
Hans Zimmer.
What a cool name. Have you heard this guy before?
Yes, I saw pictures of him, but I didn't know it was his name.
Yeah, you've definitely heard his music. Some of the world's most famous movies have had pieces of music composed by this guy. He's really famous and he's really good at what he does. So the article today is called Hans Zimmer, the man behind the musical magic of movies. Ooh, that's a lot of M's. Do you like music?
Yes, but I'm not familiar with music in movies.
We call them soundtracks, which is actually a word that we'll talk about in the article. But I really like listening to the soundtracks of movies. Sometimes I listen to them when I'm studying. Oh. They help me focus. Well, let's learn about this guy and the music that he created.
Reading. Hans Zimmer, the man behind the musical magic of movies. The strings swell and fill up the theater. The drums pound. The brass section powers into the mix. Immediately, you know this could only be a Batman movie. What kind of magician could make such music? For over 30 years, Hans Zimmer has been creating the themes we all know for some of the world's best-loved stories. Zimmer lived in Germany until he was a teenager when he moved to London, UK. He started his career playing keyboards and synthesizers. In an interview with synthesizer company Moog Music, he spoke about his early choices. As a teenager, he only had enough money to buy one thing. Was it going to be a car or was it going to be a mini Moog? He laughed, adding, I still don't drive. Zimmer's big break came when he composed the soundtrack for the 1988 movie Rain Man. For this, he was nominated for an Academy Award, and this changed Zimmer's life. It was only the beginning, however, as even greater successes would follow.
The article begins with a very evocative piece of writing. It says, "The strings swell and fill up the theater. The drums pound. The brass section powers into the mix." Wow, it feels like I'm really there listening to the music. Well, before we find out what's happening, let's talk about a few of these words, and they're both musical instrument-related words. So we have the words strings and drums. Strings are instruments that use strings, like violins, cellos, and bass. And drums are instruments that you hit with a stick, and they make a boom boom sound.
今天的课文呢，一开始就给我们一些乐器 ，the strings, the drums, and the brass section. String 这个字本来是线或者是绳子的意思，那什么乐器会用到这些东西呢？答案就是弦乐，也就是大中小提琴等等。那 drum 就是鼓 ，drums pound 也就是鼓连续打击咚咚咚的声音。那另外还有一个片语 fill up 就是充满、弥漫的意思。
You know, I'm not very good at playing musical instruments, but I do love hitting a drum with a drumstick. It's kind of like...
You don't know how to do it.
No, I just
like do it randomly.
Just makes a loud noise and it's good stress relief for me.
Exactly.
The article also used the word brass. Now, brass is spelled B-R-A-S-S. You could also pronounce it brass. Brass are musical instruments made of brass, such as trumpets and trombones. It's a kind of musical instrument, and brass is this material that's a shiny brown gold metal, and it's actually made of copper and zinc, which are two other kinds of metal. We use brass to make other things too, like plates or cups, and brass instruments. Brass instruments are usually blown into using your lungs to make big sounds. An example sentence with brass could be, "The brass section of the big band made the music feel powerful."
那再来看到 the brass section。Brass 是名词，本来的意思是黄铜。那在这边呢，意思指的就是黄铜做的乐器，也就是铜管乐器，像是小号或者是长号这样的乐器。那 brass section 指的就是铜管乐器组，有一堆人都在吹奏类似这样的乐器，那不只是一个人。例句说，这个乐团的铜管乐器组让音乐听起来很震撼。
I think of all the different groups of musical instruments, brass might be my favorite.
Really?
The sounds are so powerful, it's like getting punched in the face with music. I like it. The article continues. It says, immediately, you know this could only be a Batman movie. What kind of magician could make such music? The word magician is a noun, and a magician is a person who does magic. Their job is to do magic tricks, to make things disappear or reappear. In fantasy stories, a magician might be a person who can do real magic. But in the real world, a magician is an entertainer who amazes people with cool tricks. I love magicians. Penn and Teller are two of my favorite magicians. In the context of the article, though, the word magician is not talking about a person who does magic. It's a way to exaggerate the skills of the composer, saying that the music that he makes is so good, it's as if he used magic to make it. Here's an example sentence. The magician did an amazing trick where he made a woman disappear.
接着课文就说，你马上就会想到这样的音乐只可能是蝙蝠侠的电影。那是怎样的魔术师可以创造出这样的音乐呢？ Magician 是名词，就是一个会 magic 的人，就是魔术师、巫师。When people ask you, "Wow, how did you do that?" You can say to them, "Well, a magician never reveals his secrets." 但是在这边，课文的 magician 并不是真的是指有一个魔术师会做音乐，而是指一个技巧高超的人，像是一个音乐的魔术师一样。Like us, Reese, we are kind of like magicians ourselves, because we can make English easy to learn.
Just like magic. Well, back to the article, and it says, for over 30 years, Hans Zimmer has been creating the themes we all know for some of the world's best-loved stories. Yep, I've heard much of his music, including the music to the Batman movies. Have you seen those?
Yes, but I don't remember which one.
Yeah, there are so many, and so many actors that played Batman too. The article used the word themes here. Theme is a noun, and here the word theme is used to mean a piece of music used in a movie or a TV show. A theme is more than just a piece of music, though. It's usually the main piece of music that's used over and over again, and that everybody recognizes as being from that movie or TV show.
接着我们就要介绍到重点人物了，也就是 Hans Zimmer。那课文就说他已经做电影配乐跟主题曲做了超过30年了。那这边我们看到了现在完成进行式的用法 ，has, have been doing something， 也就是说从过去到现在的时间都在做这件事情，而且呢，在未来也会继续做这件事情的意思。For example, I've been teaching English for 7 years, and I will not stop teaching till the day I die. Theme 是名词，大部分的意思呢是主题。For example, the theme we have today is movie and music. 那在这边 theme 指的是电影的主题曲。
Well, back to the article, and now a bit of information about Hans Zimmer, the composer. Zimmer lived in Germany until he was a teenager when he moved to London, UK. He started his career playing keyboards and synthesizers. Oof, that's a complicated word. Let's talk about the word career first before we talk about keyboards and synthesizers. A career is a job that you do for a very long time. Perhaps what you spend most of your life working toward. If you may have many jobs in your life, but a career is one kind of work that you do for a long, long time. So you can have a career with jobs in many different companies. If you have a career as a music composer, you might work for many different studios or movies. Here's an example sentence for career. My dad had a 40-year career as a teacher before he retired at the age of 65.
那接着课文就告诉我们呢，他是从德国搬到英国，然后他就开始了他的音乐人生涯。Career 是名词，指的是职业或是生涯，和他的工作，job 或是 work 比较不一样，通常指的是一个比较长期，甚至是一辈子的工作。So for example, if you want to become a president, so you have to spend your whole life doing politics. 那从政这件事情呢，就会是你的 career.
Career. So your career is as a teacher.
Yes.
You might work for many different schools, but you'll be a teacher for your whole life.
Exactly.
We also saw the word keyboard, which is another kind of musical instrument. A keyboard is an electronic musical instrument similar to a piano, but a keyboard can make many different sounds like different instruments according to the settings. It's kind of like a small piano. It has black and white keys, but a keyboard uses electricity. And you can make funny sounds like the dictionary button. You remember that one? Dictionary,
and you can
dictionary.
record it.
Yeah.
And replay it.
It's very good for practicing. An example sentence with keyboard could be, I learned the keyboard when I was younger, but I haven't played in years.
那刚刚课文呢就讲到了 keyboard 跟 synthesizer。keyboard 是名词，原本的意思是键盘，像是电脑的键盘。那在这边的意思是键盘乐器，也就是电子琴的意思。那 synthesizer 是合成器，通常呢上面也会有一个 keyboard， 让你可以按出不同的音。但是在 keyboard 上面呢，会有一些可以调整的按键啊，或者是旋钮，让你可以加入不同的音色。用这样一个小小的东西，就可以仿出很多不同乐器的音色。
I love the sound of a synthesizer. It kind of sounds like 80s rock music, right? And it kind of feels like you're in like a sci-fi setting. Very good. Synth wave is a genre of music, and it's really good for listening to when you're walking down the street at night and you have the neon lights and it's raining.
Oh, I'm not familiar with synthesizer.
Have a look. Well, back to the article, it says, in an interview with synthesizer company Moog Music, he spoke about his early choices. As a teenager, he only had enough money to buy one thing. Was it going to be a car or was it going to be a mini Moog? He laughed, adding, I still don't drive. So from a very young age, it seems that Zimmer was really into music to the point where he would spend all of his money on musical instruments and
Instead of a car.
Yeah, maybe something that he needed to move around. Well, back to the article, it says Zimmer's big break came when he composed the soundtrack for the 1988 movie Rain Man. There are two words from the article to discuss here, compose and soundtrack. Compose is a verb and it just means to make music, to write and direct the sounds that make music. A person who composes is a composer. We also saw the word soundtrack, which is a noun. The soundtrack to something is the music that plays in a movie or a TV show or a video game. The soundtrack contains all of the songs played in the movie or the media. Sometimes soundtracks will contain songs made by other people. Sometimes the soundtrack will be specifically made for that movie.
那 Hans 在年轻的时候，他就买了合成器，决定要做音乐。那他是什么时候开始大红大紫的呢？就是在1988年的时候，他为电影《雨人》的原声带作曲的时候。Compose 是动词，指的是作曲。To compose is to create, to come up with the melody. 那作曲的人，作曲家就会是 composer. 那通常写歌的人，我们都会统称为 songwriter. 但是呢，它其中就有分 composer 写曲的人，或者是 lyricist 写词的人，或者是编曲的人，我们就会用 arranger. 那在另外我们看到 soundtrack 指的就是电影的配乐或者是原声带，也就是有一张专辑里面的歌全部都是出现在这部电影的歌。
Wow. The language here tells us how many people are involved with creating a piece of music.
A lot.
So many people. One to write the music, to write the words, to compose the sounds. It's a complicated process. Well, now back to the article and more about Zimmer and his life. For this, he was nominated for an Academy Award, and this changed Zimmer's life. Wow, that's a pretty big award. Some people might say it's the biggest award there is. But before we talk about awards, let's talk about the word nominate. Nominate is a verb and it means to officially suggest that someone should be given a job or that someone should receive something like a prize. To recommend, essentially, is to nominate, that somebody should win something because they did something great. You could be nominated for an Academy Award, also known as an Oscar.
Oscars.
Or if you're a singer or a songwriter, you might be nominated for a Grammy.
Nominate 是动词，意思是提名，也就是说，可能有很多人要角逐某一个奖项，那把范围缩小到几个人。So these people are nominated for a certain prize. 不只是前面讲到这些电影音乐的奖项可以被提名，像是诺贝尔 the Nobel Prize, you can also be nominated for a Nobel Prize. Not me though, not in a million years.
Maybe you can get the Nobel Prize for teaching.
Is that even a thing?
No, but we can make it one.
Okay, thank you.
The next word is the word award, which we've used a few times already. An award is a prize given to somebody for doing something amazing or for being the best at something. An award is often a small statue or figure, but it might not be worth any money or be very useful. It's just a thing that lets everybody else know that you won. Although sometimes when you get an award, you also get a cash prize. You could win an award for anything, for winning a sports game, for getting the highest score in class, or for making an amazing movie. Here's an example sentence with award. The Best Teacher Award was given to Mr. Hammond. Almost all of the students voted for him.
Award 在这边是当名词，意思是奖或者是奖项。那在这边课文提到的 The Academy Award 指的就是奥斯卡金像奖。那 award 通常会有一个奖赏或者是奖金，一个需要颁发的奖项。那 award 除了当名词之外，它也可以当动词，指的就是给予或者是授予。For example, he was awarded a medal for running the fastest at school.
Have you ever won any awards at
Yeah,
school? What
a
did
lot
you
of
win?
singing awards.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow, you're going to have to sing for me later at KTV. Well, back to the article, it says, it was only the beginning, however, as even greater successes would follow. So it looks like Zimmer has a bright future ahead of him. This is just the first step in a journey to success. Let's talk about this word, success. It's something that achieves positive results and a successful person. Success is a noun, and it's the thing that you do that has good results, or the result that you wanted. You want to do a thing and you do it, it's a success. It's accomplishing an aim or purpose, something you were trying to do. The successes of a person are the good things that that person has done in their life. Here's an example sentence. The party was a great success. Everybody had a really good time.
最后课文就说，提名奥斯卡金像奖对他来说只是一个开端，之后还有更多的成功等着他。Success 是名词，指的就是成功，也就是说达成了一个特定的目标，或者是获得一些殊荣、荣耀的意思。那它的形容词会是 successful. So for example, the party was a great success. We can also say that it was a successful party.
Very successful indeed. Well, after a successful day one of an article about Hans Zimmer, we can finish up here, and we'll see you again tomorrow for day 2. But for now, let's go to our For You Chat question.
For You Chat.
Today's For You Chat question is, how important is a movie's music to you? Talk about it.
A movie's music or soundtrack is very, very important. It really helps you understand the feeling of the movie and the atmosphere that it's trying to create. Particularly for horror movies, scary movies. Without any kind of bone-chilling soundtrack behind the pictures, it doesn't feel scary at all.
It would be boring.
Really
Yeah,
boring.
imagine a movie without any music.
I don't think I would watch that.
Only people talking.
Yeah, that would be kind of dull, I think. And the music really helps you as an audience member to understand the feelings of the characters or what's actually happening in the scene.
And sometimes maybe the scene is sad, but it plays cheerful music to make you feel what's going on.
Yeah, you
What's going to happen next?
feel very confused. You guys can think about this question too. How important is a movie's music to you? Talk about that with your friends. But for now, that's all we have. We'll see you tomorrow for day 2 of our article about Hans Zimmer.
Vocabulary Review.
Brass. I love the loud and deep sounds that certain brass instruments, such as French horns, can make. Magician. Tommy was really excited to see the magician pull a large rabbit out of his hat. Career. Jack started his teaching career at a small school in Sanxia. Now he's a principal in Taipei. Keyboard. Henry already plays the piano so he should have no trouble playing a keyboard. Award. Amy was given an award for being the top tennis player in her region. Success. The movie was a huge success and made almost $2 billion in total.
智慧小补帖
Theme. Compose. Soundtrack. Nominate.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作。活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net